Brandon, what you mentioned a lot is employers are used to buying health insurance. How do you build a healthcare program long term? I want to share one case study, then I'd love for you to end on that concept about building a healthcare program and what that means. We were working with an employer about 24 months ago. They were already self-funded and they thought they were doing everything right. They approached us because they had a high cost claim that was on their plan from 12 months ago. They were no longer on the plan and it was still impacting their renewal 12 months later. And they were confused. They had heard about us online. We had had a relationship with someone that knew them, so they got introduced to us. We had a conversation. And they had renewed. It was a tough renewal, and this claim from 12 months ago had impacted that renewal. And they were really confused. They didn't understand why. They thought stop loss was renewed on a look-forward basis, not on a prior risk to recoup those dollars. So we looked at their program, and it was set up poorly. We did a mid-year transition in May, 5 months after their program had already renewed, switched the stop loss carrier, and it saved their plan 30% through the rest of the year. Just by making one vendor change and making sure the stop loss program was set up correctly, this company saved 30%. Their TPA stayed the same, their network stayed the same, their pharmacy program stayed the same, their stop loss changed. And then what this tells us is stop loss programs are set up poorly all the time across the country. So just ensure as an employer you're doing your due diligence and that your program is set up exactly the way you want it to be set up to achieve your long-term goals. But Brandon, I'd love for you to talk about healthcare program versus health insurance, where it's been, where it's going. And I think that'd be a good wrap up for us.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that example. It's one that we've seen an iteration of over the last couple of years. And I think that is also part of more groups going to a self-funded environment. There's more mid-market groups that are interested in it. And there's more people learning, which kudos to them. But at the same time, not everyone has the experience to help these groups make these changes. So just ensure you're working with a partner that it can help you accomplish what you want to. And the last thing, we'll end on today, specifically healthcare versus health insurance. And a lot of people say, hey, I have my health insurance, and, they go to the doctor and they think of health insurance that way. Well, let's take one step above and go back to an employer plan. Employers today, especially if you're in a partially self-funded, any environment, you're running a healthcare plan. Yes, you do buy one piece of insurance that helps with large claims, but when you're looking at what's driving costs, it's healthcare events. So what we're really seeing a shift of, especially with leadership teams that are engaged, they're thinking long-term, especially ones with employees that have longer tenures, lower turnover, is really shifting the entire mindset of how are we getting our teams engaged with the programs we have? How are we getting our employees engaged clinically? And then what are we providing and what are we building to help that? What we see time and time again is all these different tools, all these different programs that employees either don't use, don't care about, or don't know about. Where we're seeing groups win are the ones that meet as a leadership team, understand that they have a healthcare plan, it matters to their employees. Having great benefits matters, but throughout the year, how is that engaged? And the position where we're at today is that, in our opinion, if you're a partially self-funded employer, you are running a healthcare program, and you should be looking at who are the people that are helping me build that? Do they know about healthcare? Do they have a pharmacy background? Do they understand what's driving claims costs? Anyone can go buy a health insurance plan. Anyone can go get a stop loss quote. Anybody can go get an RFP from a vendor. But when you're managing a healthcare program the other 12 months of the year, partnering with a team that can advise on those things, we're seeing to be paramount. So just what I would say to everybody that's sitting in a seat that's running an employer healthcare program is take the insurance hat off after renewal and really focus on how can we optimize a healthcare program, how can we focus on outcomes, our employees' ongoing clinical health, and then what's the long-term strategy for the healthcare plan. And putting that in writing, coming up with a plan as a team is key.